Ladies and gentlemen, live from the Boardwalk Stage, it's Between Two Palms with your hosts, Derek and Mikey.
Hey everyone, Derek Clark here, live from the Boardwalk Stage, in between two palm trees, with my favorite co-host,
the only
Mikey Muscatello.
I'm the only co-host.
Yeah, I'd have to find it after Aftershock. Man, I'm surprised you're here.
It was rough, dude. It was a long 4 days, but it was a good time. That's for sure.
My gosh, and we've got news about that too, but a little bit later. But thanks for tuning in. I'm actually very surprised, happily surprised about how many people are actually making comments about the podcast already. I was like,
people are listening, man.
I know people are listening.
If you build it, they will come.
Well, sometimes you just got to have something worth a shit to say.
That's true. You can't just put a podcast out there and people will listen. Like we're talking about things that either matter to people in the industry or people who are outside of the industry are curious to know, kind of have that behind the curtain look, like what's going on at a concert venue, what's happening in the music industry.
It's tough. It's tough. I know. I don't think you'll hear another concert owner, venue owner say this, but I was wrong. There's a lot of things I was wrong about. And we're going to make some changes we've got some crazy industry changes. There's a new report that's out. Man.
When you say you're going to make changes, do you mean the venue itself or the industry is making changes?
So in the state of what the industry is happening today, just not only economically, recession, however we want to call it, it's just what's happening with concert venues, independent concert venues across the nation.
Okay.
And it's startling. It's startling to think that the small stages, based on information today that's been put together through an organization I belong to called the National Independent Venue Association, that put together an independent study with an independent agency that took surveys of everything from independent festivals across the United States to small capacity places like ours, and how they were doing. And we really showed what was going on. We really told them what was happening here in these venues and what the struggles were. So
what are some of you got a bunch of data there. What I know what some of your struggles are. We've talked a little bit about some of that on some of the past episodes. Go back and listen if you haven't. What are some of the struggles that are coming up across the nation for people? Or what's hurting the industry?
Well, over 2/3 of all the independent venues across the United States are struggling to make a profit, if they're making a profit at all.
Why is that though?
2/3.
Is that a lack of talent? Is it because the economy's in the shitter? Like, what is it? So
this is kind of the summation of about probably 1,000-page report about everything that was going on, not only about the data that was supplied. So this independent firm probably put together 100,000 pages worth of data over the last year and a half. And they said that the data showed that 2/3 of the independent stages nationwide are struggling to stay profitable due to inflation, monopolistic or polycystic.
I don't even know what that is.
I think that's it.
Monopolistic
practices and predatory ticket resales, which scalpers or people that are selling the tickets above value and above cost. They go in, they buy these tickets.
As soon as they go on sale, they make they sell the show out, or they buy as many tickets as possible, and then they just go and they resell them like on StubHub or something like that.
Right.
Didn't it come out a few years ago? Maybe you don't, maybe you know, maybe you don't. That Ticketmaster was actually involved in that. Like, they not only sold the tickets originally, but also had a hand or a stake in these StubHub or whatever it is that are rebuying and reselling. So not only are they getting the first cut, but they're also getting a little bit of that second cut as well.
Well, on top of it, and here's something that you need to hold on to your hat if you're wearing a hat. I know, hold on tight. It's not only doing that, but they also would have AI clones and AI stuff out there that are buying like independent venues. And festivals, and this happened to a festival back in Ohio, or many festivals. Just they came out and said something that these companies were coming out and buying $20,000 in festival tickets, selling as many they can and then doing a chargeback for the difference. So they would think that the festival sold out and then they'd get 20,000 tickets charged back on a refund.
Really?
Yeah. And you know what? MasterCard, Visa, they're all allowing it. They're all allowing.
Why
saying,
would they allow that?
Because it was 24 hours before the concert. They can't sell them, or they can't go. And they had hundreds and hundreds of different email addresses. And next thing you know, there's one back. It had $60,000 in chargebacks.
Isn't there? But can't you do a sort of a no refunds, all sales are final type thing?
Well, that's what we say, but that's not what the government does. We have to pass legislation that actually makes it concrete. And if you don't know this, Visa is the biggest courier of funds across the internet, across the web, secured web in the world.
Yeah.
Okay. So when they see these things that are handled by robots or handled by individuals, they give them the refund, and then the concert venue or the festival struggles to sell it that 24 hours. And before some other legislation had to be was passed, they were doing it after the fact. They were asking for refunds because they didn't, in the system, the ticket wasn't redeemed. They paid for it. They didn't show up. And then they offered them a refund.
Wow.
So it just killed the industry.
Yeah.
So that's one thing, people have the right to sell their tickets if they can't make it. I understand that because we do say all sales are final. It doesn't hurt too many of the 300, 400, 500 cap, but it hurts 1,000 and above capacities that happen. But the other one about the practices, the monopolistic practices, that's the monopolies. That is the ticket master.
That's the ticket master who not only owns the ticketing, but also has so it's Live Nation who then owns the ticketing and also owns the venues and then has deals with the bands that they can only go and tour and play Live Nation venues and only sell their tickets through Ticketmaster at this insane amount of money. How is that even legal? It's not legal. It can't be.
It's not legal. It's like they've broken it up in so many different little segments that, to go after them is a lot of work and it's a lot of money through the government, and now that we have a class action suit against these individuals that are going to break them apart and they truly will get broken apart, to make it's got to have you got to have an even playing field. I don't want a better playing field than them. I know that they can buy, beer on bulk better than I can buy it, or ticket paper better than. I'm not asking for that. I'm asking for the venue to act like that they care about the other venue. Yeah. Otherwise, they just don't care. I think I made a mention of this on a previous podcast. Maybe I didn't. We had Savannah Dexter coming here, and Ribo Gator, that actually is her husband, and they actually were the best man and matron of honor for Jelly Roll and Bunny.
Oh, cool.
Okay, so they're friends of theirs. So they're great musicians on their own account, right? They don't have to be associated with anybody. And they were playing a West Coast tour. We were lucky enough to get them booked here. They had a place up in Reno that they were doing a 2 or 3 night stand, 1,500 plus capacity, sellout, really great venue, and it was high grossing. And the lady that owned those 2 venues just wanted to retire, and it had been for sale prior to. I think it was either a straw purchase or an actual purchase by Live Nation, bought those 2 venues, and then canceled all the concert and closed the concert series because they had the Harrah's, they had the Grand Theater.
So they bought them to close them.
They bought them to close them so they could drag that market share over to the Grand Sierra and the other things that they controlled in ticketing.
Wow.
And so what that did for us is, since that was the anchor, they canceled the West Coast tour for us. And so we had a refund 300 I think we were like 331 and we're at 341 capacity, and we had to refund 331 people.
Damn, man.
That and not have a chance to.
Well, not only does that suck for the artist, but it sucks for you guys. It sucks for the people who wanted to come. I mean, that's it's a bad look.
So that's the that's the unfair part of the playing field. But my epiphany came a little bit differently about these statistics that came out, and I can read them really quickly. Is that small independents, which means live entertainment, independent venues, including independent festivals.
Okay.
We generate $153 billion. Okay. In total economic output. Okay. We contribute $86 billion direct to US GDP.
Wow.
Right. We support more than 907,000 jobs, and it pays over $51 billion in wages and benefits. That's more economic activity than the beer, gaming, and airline industry combined.
Damn.
Okay. And big monopolies are trying. Well, when I read back here about 2/3 are struggling or make a profit, that's being nice, because 2/3 are not making a profit. 2/3 are not getting any help. 2/3 are not getting any playing field leveling type of thing. But yet we control a huge market space that without us would cost even more economic failure in not only our industry, but total United States economics. So when I say I was wrong, we started this to try to want to keep the boardwalk, the boardwalk. We didn't change the name. We did, however, change some of our methodologies. Okay. Now that part of that was my experience in business, but my inexperience in concert venues, which are two different birds. Okay.
Yeah,
because
for sure.
This economically has three economic interests: the beverages, the bar, the food,
Mm-hmm.
and then the concerts. Okay, and each need to and should stand on its own feet to make a profit. Now, if you don't know this about us, the profit that we do make goes to local charities, families, veterans, pets at risk. What we mean at risk is, the ones that are going to be euthanized, the SPCAs, the fostering companies, all these other things. Because, frankly, if you want to help families, these are part of families as well. And if you don't believe that, then I'm sorry, you're just a piece of shit. So I mean, sorry,
no, you're right,
sorry.
You're right.
I
it's okay.
If you want to throw away an animal, you want to throw away a human too.
Probably likely, yeah. You're probably right.
I
mean, didn't they say serial killers can't start when they start murdering dogs and cats when they're kids?
And really, do you have to flip off somebody while you're driving down the road because somebody's slower than you and jet around them, and you got to flip them off? Do you know how adolescent you fucking look? Sorry, that was a segue. It's like, figure out that I understand that behind your computer, you can say some really nasty shit, and behind that wheel, because, I think people think that when they pick their nose in their car, nobody can see them.
Everybody sees you.
Everybody sees you.
Everybody sees you.
Oh my God.
Everybody, look, the road rage is crazy. Calm down, people.
Yeah, I know. But anyhow, so here we go again. So part of this offsite tourism spending is at $1.2 billion. And then $1 billion spent in lodging, $94 million spent in restaurants and bars, another $46 million are spent on shopping, $25 million is spent on gas, parking, and transportation, and then $9 million on other entertainment and recreational services. So this is no drop in the bucket for our economy.
Lot of money.
Okay?
Well, I mean, look, you brought up Aftershock earlier. Aftershock is technically an independent.
Right. It's part of Danny's part of that whole thing.
And which is great. And but you were talking about the money that this industry brings into an economy. Aftershock itself sells out every single hotel room in Sacramento and the surrounding area. You can't get a hotel room. If you are getting a hotel room, you're paying out the ass for it. On top of that, they bring in over $30 million into this city over a 4-day weekend. That's insane. So keep that in mind when what we're talking about this. If independent festivals, independent venues go away, not only are we losing the content and the entertainment value that we're going to get, our city is going to get hurt.
Yep.
Dramatically.
Yep. And I'm not saying Danny is losing money.
No, of course not. I know.
But he's spending a tremendous amount of money on the acts. I mean, the Blink 182 is just not going to show up and saying, "Hey, we're going to do it for." They're
going to do it for $100,000. That's for sure.
They're not going to do it for that, and all the other venues. We didn't even book bands that weekend because we know that people really out there. I mean, you're talking about 40,000 people a day. And I know some people go the same day and everything, but that's 160,000 people that go through that gate over 4 days.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And to see some of those shows and some of that's where everybody's packed,
Mm-hmm.
better you than me.
It's a good time. It's a good time.
It's a great time. I flew over the site. It was a restricted airspace, but I did it anyway.
That's cool. That's very cool.
Crazy stuff. But back to the part that I'm wrong is that if we have 2/3 that are failing, in essence, okay, struggling, not making a profit, it's a matter of time. How long can they stay open? How long can they pay their employees the overhead? Next to employees, then it's the overhead.
Yeah.
Then cost of food is stupid.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be that you used to get it. Oh, you make money on the bar. It is not that great anymore. Let me tell you something. For a guy that doesn't take an income from here, from a guy that wants to give more to charity than what you think it's not that much. It used to be 80%. It's not 80%, not even clear. Beer used to be 60%, not even anymore. The food used to have at least a 40% margin. Man, I tell you what, if you keep up on it, you're lucky to be at 20%, 25%. Wow. Where does that go? Well, you still have your taxes. You still have your, all the other things that you got to pay on it. You have to pay prep. You have to pay all these different things on it, and to come out with 20%, to say, okay, you did, $1,000 in food sales, so $200 is a profitable part of the margin. How many thousands of dollars do you have to do to make a profit?
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. And if you're talking about 80%, that's great. If you're talking about, and this new generation is not drinking like the older generations are.
No, they're not.
They're going poppy water. They're doing, so we have to reinvent ourselves with that and mocktails and what have you. So it's a ebb and flow. It's very much an evolution for us. And then since pre-COVID, I didn't know, but things were kind of set a little bit more safer. But post-COVID, bands cost more, travel expenses cost more, lodging expenses cost more. Everything costs so much more that the bands want a little more. Now, here's where I'm wrong. If we don't save these stages, the new generation of music, the new generation, or just the band generation, the people that are putting together bands that want to have some originality, will not have a fucking stage. That's true. What they're going to do? They're going to play at a bus station. They're going to play in a park. They're going to play in a subway. They're going to play at BART. They're going to play other places to try to get somebody to hear the music. It's really unbelievable what these big monopolies are doing to us. And with the government, if I give $10 to the government, and another person gives $10. And yes, as a whole, we could give $100,000 to the government to try to help lobby our position, whatever. But we're up against a company that's got millions and millions and millions of dollars.
And they're donating to campaigns, and they have people in the government that's also working for. They have lobbyists. They have all kinds of things.
They're the puppet master. They have their hands shoved so far up their ass that they are telling them what to do and how to do it. And here's the remarkable thing about a politician. Do you know that a politician, another segue, do you know that a politician, after they're done running and have raised all this money, now there's two ways you look at their money. One, it's misappropriation of funds. While they're running, they have to appropriate their funds on the donors that they get to run, and they win. Great. When they decide if they don't win, or if they decide not to run anymore, they get to put that money in their pocket.
Yep.
Did you know that? They get to put that money in their pocket. So tell me they're not raising money for their future. Tell me that they're not trying to create their future at your expense. Okay. I'm not going to get into, and I'm not each side of the line. I'm just saying how crooked it is to donate to a politician knowing they have an end game of getting out of the game.
Yeah.
Okay. But back to I'm wrong, which is, not a great feeling, is that we thought that we could do what other people are doing in the neighborhood. Yeah, we'd bring a lot tributes and bring some cover bands and bring, other things that were, circulating and create a door. Well, the problem is we were wrong. We couldn't create a door. They were playing everywhere. They were playing in the park for free. They were playing at down the street or whatever, $300. They were playing here for $500. And then they'd come here because we're creating a door, but they're playing for free or $5 entrance or whatever. And here we're creating a door and they want more money. And so naively, we paid them more money. Yeah, I'm talking about tribute bands and I'm talking about, other bands and what have you. And we didn't pay attention to our local talent.
Just a quick note that I want to be clear, like there's nothing wrong with tribute bands. They're fine. And cover bands are fine. If that's what you want to go for. The problem that you're saying, and hopefully it's getting across here, is that they're everywhere and they're playing everywhere. So when they are playing down the street and they're playing in Roseville and they're playing in Folsom and they're playing downtown all in 1 month, who the hell wants to go and see the same cover band go play over at the Boardwalk? Is that what you're kind of trying to say?
Yes. And that's not the foundation that the Boardwalk was built on.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's not.
So, but make no mistake, we did tailor the thing. We're not going to have 10 bands or 8 bands in a night. And now we're not going to jam teenagers in here. Sorry. That shit ain't going to happen. You're asking for problems in today's day and age. There's too many things that can go wrong. And there's a lot of people waiting in line to find you and to close you down and make you pay big money. Yeah. So we're not going to do that. But what we are going to do is, if we do get a national, what my commitment is that we will do, and I had a meeting with my booking staff, because I now have a booking staff now along with myself, is that we are going to make it our mission to always have a local open the show. Now,
no matter who's playing.
No matter who's playing. It's going to have to meet the genre.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you're not going to throw like a metal opener on with Pablo Cruz or whatever, because that would be weird.
No. But what we did throw is we threw Red Voodoo.
But that makes sense though,
in front of them, and they did an acoustic. So it worked out well.
It's the same demographic for the most part.
You know who you are.
The age
Dino
demographic.
And crew, fantastic job.
The age demographic is there though.
The age demographic is there.
That makes sense.
So, they did an acoustical show. So that was great. But I'm just not talking, it has to be Sacktown. It can be Modesto. It can be somebody that has numbers in a draw or whatever it is. Or it could be just slowly local. Know that when you get into this business, when you want to be a band, you have to have a business mind too. It's just not, I play great music and then it will come. Because I have a concert venue and they don't come unless you are a business person.
Yeah.
Unless you can market, unless you do. So know that the band's got to get skin in the games. They got to bring people. They got to do what you want. We will bring people if you bring people. Mm-hmm. Okay. Ticket sales or no ticket sales. You bring people, we'll bring people, because the way we market, right? But it is a synergy. It is
work together.
It is 100%. We're going to do more all local shows as well.
Well, okay. So if you were to look at your calendar right now,
right.
What's the balance between, tribute versus local right now?
I don't see a problem to do a 80s, 90s, 2000s tribute show.
It's a good time. It's a lot of fun.
It's a great time.
Mm-hmm.
It is a great time. Not going to do a week in, week out.
That's smart.
Okay. We're not going to do a week in, week out. We may have a weekend of that, and even when we're doing something like that, we'll have a local open. Okay.
That's good. Yeah. You should, yeah.
That kind of thing. I mean, there's a lot of great cover bands. Don't get me wrong. And they have a following, and I have a couple favorites that I have, and we'll have them here, right? But if we're gonna continue the cycle, we're gonna continue the cycle for failure. So yes, we can adapt and overcome, and we will adapt and overcome. But all the locals that I've had in here, and maybe just a few, didn't understand what their requirement was in order to have a participation in bringing people or being a business and band. They were absolutely the funnest time. They were the funnest time. They're nice. They're grateful. We take care of them. We treat them like family. We've had regionals in there, the same thing, but then it kind of gets mixed and dicey. And we've had national acts in here, some fantastic and some not so fantastic fastball. And
He didn't even sing his one song.
they had 2 songs, and they only sung one.
I know the one song.
The Way. But I did make them pay, because as they were breaking down and they had their crew breaking down, I paid The Way 5 times on the jukebox.
So that's hilarious, but they did not play The Way.
Yeah, because they were at 59 minutes and they were at a 60-minute show, which I didn't want. I wanted a 75-plus minute show, and they walked off the stage.
Wow.
Walked off the stage.
Jerk. And you're fastball. You're not even like your fastball.
I know. I know. You're an opener.
Fastball.
You're an opener now.
Yeah,
Okay?
even that. You're not even that.
Yeah, you're an opener, So,
well, do you think that the industry itself, do you think that like with the oversaturation of cover bands, again, nothing wrong with them, but do you think that the industry, the venue industry sort of just started booking all these cover bands just to stay afloat? Because especially after COVID, when things were so weird.
There's so many political answers for that, but I think that the government, what's happening with economics, people are looking, music heals the soul,
but nostalgia sells.
And nostalgia sells. You're right, because the reminiscing part of it.
Yeah, people love that.
They do. So there are so many places that they will play for a lot less money and have a free door. And economically for the patron, they said, "Oh, we'll go see the band, and then we'll have dinner and a couple drinks."
Makes sense,
right?
Yeah,
and it does make sense. That's just not what the Boardwalk. If we went that model, I believe we would fail too, because we've never been that model.
No, the Boardwalk isn't that way. The Boardwalk is a venue. It's a concert venue. It's not a bar. It's not a restaurant. Yep. That works for places who a majority sell food Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and they're a bar as well. So that can work for somebody like that, but that can't work for a club.
No. So again, my naiveness is about, business is business and this is this, and I can adapt and overcome. The problem is the variables in the human nature. Okay. What economically is happening, what households are experiencing, what bands that are the generation that's growing up in this electronic generation that feel that they get instant gratification, as soon as they post it or as soon as they do it. And that's all I need to do. There are no overnight successes in any type of business. There's no somebody lurking around the corner saying, "Oh, you've got it, and I'm going to sign you to a multi-million-dollar contract." Now, that doesn't happen. And the ones we think are overnight successes have been beating the pavement for 5-10 years, putting in the time. Remember, the time is valuable, but the time is what you have that won't cost you anything if you put the energy in the right direction.
Yeah.
So, and we teach that, and we love teaching the new up and comers. But again, I always say up and comers, but you don't have to be 15, 18 years old to be an up and comer. You can be a 30-year-old. You can be somebody that's reinventing themselves at 40, 50 years old. It doesn't matter. It's being in the industry and wanting to take part in a music community and start something.
Yeah.
Start something. And when somebody leaves a band to go start another band, they're starting over.
Mm-hmm.
They're starting over. They're back on this circuit. They're back doing these things. We're still going to do, music video bingo because it's fun on a Sunday and people come out and eat. And we're still going to do comedy on a Thursday once in a while, and we're going to have names on the comedy. We're still going to do live band karaoke on Thursdays, first and third Thursdays. But these Fridays and Saturdays, and we'll do fundraisers on Sundays. These Fridays and Saturdays, I think we need to dedicate to our local talent.
Do you also think, though, I think that's a great idea, by the way. I think that having, we've talked about this before, but having a business or a venue that is just so dedicated and focused on the local scene is important. It's so important to the music community. It's so important to the local scene. I mean, just over the weekend, talking to some of the bands that I've talked to at Aftershock, and I was talking to this guy, Ryan. He's with the band Titan. They may have played here before, I'm not sure, but he does the Titan Fest, which is this local metal festival. He's a really cool dude. It's good things going on, but he talks about that as well, that they need to have the support of these, not just the community, but also the support of the venues. And that brings me to how do we get people who will pay $60 to go see a Bon Jovi cover band, but won't pay $10 to go see their best friend's band at a local venue? How do we get those people to realize that's the more important than supporting the cover or the tribute band, who's a great band, but you got to support your friends. You got to support that local scene. How do we get people to understand that?
We'd be dandy if these bands that have made it going up there remember where they came from. Wouldn't it be dandy? Wouldn't it be dandy if they said, hey, whoever they sign with as a manager or the booking agent or who the label, we still need to go out and have a grassroots outreach for our up and comers.
Yeah.
We want to remember where we came from. Wouldn't it be dandy? And instead, they're just worried about the dollar and how much money we're making. And then they get isolated and then they go do this and they do that. And then, oh, you just handle it. And then the management's like, well, I'm only in it for the money. And the promoter says, I'm only in it for the money because I make a percentage. But really understand that these bands can dictate what they do. They can say, oh, no, wait a sec. I need to do a pickup date at the Boardwalk. And we've got 3 up and comers and 3 local bands that need to get some exposure. We've been in touch with them. We want to go talk to the Boardwalk, on a mano-a-mano level, because we know one thing about the Boardwalk is that they're not into the profit. They're into the give. This is why we're doing this. We would love for that to happen. Is it going to happen? It happened a couple times so far, but we'd like to happen more and more, where we can put and showcase these local comers, because there's this anchor. It's like these shopping malls that used to have the Sears out there, and then they had all these little shops.
Sure.
So they're coming to Sears, but then they go visit the little shops,
Yeah.
and then they get the exposure, and then they like it. And then sometimes the little shops became medium shops and became bigger shops.
That's usually how it works.
And then became anchor shops, right?
Yeah.
Same thing. I never forgot where I came from.
You don't do that.
I never forgot. I never
Keeps you
forgot
humble.
what happened to me. That was the experience that led me up to now. Okay. And when you get out of touch with that, or you let it go, or now you think you're a different person or a better person or whatever, remember this, the person here that's handing here is an easy switch. We need each other. And without needing each other, I mean, do you know what a thrill it is when we have a local come in and then they get to meet an idol, or they get to meet somebody really cool that we have as a headliner, and talk to them, and just like you just see the green with envy, and then the people that made it, that's got some hit songs, are very appreciative and very nice. Those are what we can do here. And we're talking about, if we could get 100 of those acts together per year, and fill our weekends, and then showcase our young talent, our new talent. Let's go with new talent. Our new talent, new local talent. Man, we would not only save small venues, but we would be be a force to reckon with. And not everybody would understand that's a lot of work. That's that band reaching out to these independents, and not on a tour, to where they just sign and then they book all the tour.
Yeah.
And they do everything, and you're playing Golden One, and you're playing this and paying that, but we have the people that can and do stop by the Papa Roaches, they're really cool people, we just, and you know what, I know that to forecast a schedule sometimes is 6, 7, 8, 9 months down the road.
Yeah.
Because they're committed. But if they have that little date in between and do a pickup date, we can do a lot with that, and help these new bands.
And that brings up a couple of things. One is being able to have that pickup date is going to come down to also that lawsuit that you guys are talking about, because right now it's really hard for bands to do that, because Live Nation won't allow them to pick up those pickup dates. So that's one thing. The other thing is too, and you mentioned that, like basically you're saying the Boardwalk is going to go back to its roots. And so my question on that is, what, in your mind as the venue owner, what is back to the roots for the Boardwalk?
I think we're going to focus on more local shows. We will have that tribute band in here. We'll have the nostalgia, cover band in here, and we're not going to kind of totally toss that away. But I'd like to do. We got a great local talent buyer and Troy Cleve that we just hired.
Troy's great.
And
Troy's awesome.
He's in Chick Habit. He brought Some Fear None in here.
Yep.
He's got a couple other local bands, but he is Mr. Pulse on the local scene. And so I not only expect, but I know the great things are going to happen through that connection.
Yeah,
and then we have Dana Moray, and she's our great connection for the Pablo Cruzes, for these other bands that we have coming in and that we're going to sign. And then, we also have people reach out to us as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to make sure that no matter what, we get a local same genre band that needs exposure, want to come play at the Boardwalk.
I remember, gosh, man, I remember growing up and going to see any band, whatever band it was. And I grew up in Cleveland, and there was always a local opener. And it could be, I would go to the CSU Convocation Center, which was a big venue, even some of the smaller venues and see bigger bands, but there was always a local opener. What happened to that? Is that not a thing anymore, or was that just a Cleveland thing? I don't think I've ever seen that here.
It basically came down to dollars and cents and spending time with people that weren't going to make you quote the big dollar, and kind of let that fall. And unfortunately, a lot of places, don't get me wrong, everybody has to survive. We have to be able to keep the doors open.
Yeah.
Okay. And then trying to figure out the best way to do it. But I think in the future, when we do locals, and there's been a lot of people that's played here that's been locals and made it, they'll pay dividends back. We're going to ingrain in them that how you start is how you finish. What you put in is what you get out.
Yeah.
And never forget where you came from. And so if we create a great experience here for a local band, pardon me, if we create that for a local band, that will be ingrained in them to where when they do make it, and a lot of them will, if you put in the work, it will be phenomenal.
Well, it's funny you say that, because basically every national act, like you said, started on a small stage, started in somebody's backyard, whatever it is. Do you think that this is just a random question. Do you think that the next big act is already out there in Sacramento? Think about it. I'm not a fan, but the Deftones, Papa Roach, Cake, those are just three that I can name off the top of my head. Tesla, there's four off the top of my head. Like, do you think that's out there right now, right in Sacramento, just waiting? We're looking for its spot.
Yes and no.
No.
Yes, if we keep these stages open. No, if we don't. Okay.
That's the answer I was looking for.
I'm keeping the stage open. We're keeping the stage open, and we will have many more success stories off this stage than any other venue. We're the oldest venue in the area.
That's awesome.
Oldest venue. If you even go back to Cowtown Joe's 1952, we used to have hee-haw here.
I know.
Over there, actually, with the stage.
About that before.
Something like that. Anyhow, but then 1987, oldest stage, the Boardwalk, brought in a lot. Paramore, the list is just crazy. Portugal the Man, Chevelle, Tesla, all these things. And I think they even played here when they were City Kid. So Montrose played here. I actually saw that show. Only show I saw here was that Montrose show.
That's funny.
Sammy Hager's been here, but yes, we're going to keep this open, and we may be the only venue around that is going to have those accolades to where we kept this stage open for our locals, and the locals can be relatively not far, locals, Northern California, kind of thing.
Yeah. For sure.
But even locals close to our area, Sacramento. Yes, we will have some. I know Some Fear None are getting right back to it.
Good.
I think Some Fear None is going to knock it out of the fucking park.
As they should.
Okay, as they should.
Amazing band.
So besides that, we'll have people back here that have made it to want to help showcase those locals. But if the answer is no, if these go away, the answer is no with many other venues, because one, they can't have that kind of draw.
Mm-hmm.
And two, they want the fast buck now. They don't want to invest in the future of our music and our music venue or the music industry. What's a better word for it? In the music environment. No, in our music area. I'm looking for that term that we
Community.
are here. And yeah,
Community.
we want to invest in the music community and community.
Community.
But so without venues like this that want to invest in that, and it is an investment. It's a pay now and reap the benefit later. And but I like that, because you don't put $10 in the stock market and get $1 million out of it, in a week. You let it ride. You let it ride and you let it keep going, ups and downs. You set it and you forget it, as they used to say from Ronco. Or
That was the oven,
the turkey, the chicken. But I'm committed. I'm committed to this. I'm committed to our community. I'm committed to people in need, and one of the people in need are musicians, and we need to take care of them.
Is that the overall mission here? Is to keep the music community alive here in Sacramento?
I want to keep the local music community alive on the coattails of the regional and national acts that will come here.
That's cool. That's good. I think people need to know that, man. I think people need to understand that it's not you just trying to make money. You're actually trying to keep the community together, alive, and energized, which is important, because some of these guys, some of these bands, I know they get down on themselves, and I know, because like I said, like, you can't, people pay $60 to go see a cover band, but they won't pay $10, $15, $20 to go see their friend's band. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
So knowing that there's a venue owner out there who is all about it and supports that is massive. I think that's huge. And I think a lot of people just don't know. People don't know that about you.
It's good and it's a target.
Sure.
In two things. But how many places do you go to that actually has the owner walking around?
Oh yeah.
And making sure that your experience is great, let alone the other owner, my wife, Sarah, the most beautiful thing. God dang, without her, this is not possible. Trust me. And then I got a great staff as well. I can't say enough about them. But what I can walk around a dozen different venues and not see who owns the place.
Oh, absolutely. I can't think of any of that. You never will know.
Yeah. So they have booking agents that but they don't walk it. They don't do any of that. But.
Well, let's talk to the people listening right now that enjoy this podcast, or maybe just finding this podcast. What can they do to help make this shift, to help this cause?
So you support local original music.
Yeah.
Okay. And it doesn't have to be all original, but if you look at statistically, every single band, every single performer that has made it, they've had a couple covers that they made their own, and then they also had some original stuff.
Absolutely.
Okay, so a lot of people go for the covers and nostalgia, as you say,
Mm-hmm.
and the reminiscing, and then they hear some new stuff and go, "Wow, that's really in tune with their genre." That is so cool. But support your local stage.
Your next new favorite band and the next new biggest band could be playing right here.
Yes.
And could be living down the street from you.
Yes.
Go support the local music. But if you're willing to go put that money down on a tribute act, or even just go to witness a tribute act, go support the local guys, because man, that is where all the music you love and listen to started out, just like that.
And we will try to keep the ticket price affordable.
I love that about this place too, because it's usually, it's very affordable. It's always been that way.
And, we would love to have the volume that comes in the place to support the local music than the higher dollar and less people that come in here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not just talking for the beer and food sales. It's talk about, power by numbers, and the numbers that see
Mm-hmm.
the bands, that they help them catapult quicker. It's not about us.
Yeah.
It's about them.
Yeah.
And it's about keeping this machine working.
Yeah.
And it's trying, but it at the end of the day, it's rewarding.
It is.
Or at the end of every other day.
Maybe at the end of the week.
Yeah, at the end of the week. At the end of the week. When we see something great happen here, and we've had several of those days where we've had great bands here, and we've had bands that are going to be great.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it just, that's, my learning curve has been accelerated. It keeps me up at night,
Yeah.
what I'm always debriefing myself. I'm always saying, what can I do better? What can I do better?
We all got to be that way.
Well, we should.
Yeah.
Not that, it's over with. That worst thing. It is what it is.
No, don't say that.
I
It's
mean,
what can it be better? How can it be
then
better?
It's like, oh, it's over with. We're on to the next thing. No, debrief yourself. It is what it is. It is what you make it.
Yeah.
And if you're not making it great, figure out how to,
I agree.
That doesn't take money. It takes brain work.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the brain to make it work, find somebody that can help you.
Yeah, for sure.
We just had fantastic meeting. We had a fantastic meeting today. We had a fantastic meeting yesterday.
Yeah.
We don't have all the answers, but when we get everybody collectively in a room, there is some wonderful brainstorming and some wonderful things that come out of it. And, I needed a little bit of a nudge, with this and saying, why isn't this part working? Why is this part working? And sometimes it takes a 1,000 days
Sure.
to figure it out and saying, okay, it all shake down. I've got data. So we have data, and we have data to know that our investment should be on local music. That's where it is. We are going to invest into regional and national music to help local music get exposure. And we might just put a whole showcase together, and we will put a whole showcase together with just all local stuff, but we're not going to do the thing of the past here where they put 8, 9, 10 bands on. I think the most that we talked about is going to be 4 bands.
I think 4 is plenty.
I think 4 is plenty. And with the change, and with the change in and change out, and if you haven't heard our sound system, it's fantastic.
So good. It's so good.
I hate it when we have a little feedback here and there because there's too much metal running around the stage, but it happens.
Yeah. I mean, that happens everywhere. That happens at the gigantic venues. I heard it happen at the festival. It happens. What are you going to do?
It's how you recover.
Yeah.
It's not what happens.
True.
It's how you recover from it. It's how you address it. You can address it very angrily, or you can address it as, hey, adapt and overcome.
Yep.
Let's do that. That's the old military talking to me, adapt and overcome, because you had to adapt and overcome.
But that's life. Come on, people.
Well, people don't know that.
I know.
There's that old saying. I always tell my kids, without stupid people, we wouldn't look so smart.
That's very smart.
And the only stupid people that don't listen.
Mm-hmm.
Listen and learn. Listen and learn. You're never too old to learn.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And you always can listen.
Oh.
So there really is no stupid people, but
only stupid questions.
Yeah. Who says there's no stupid question? No, there are.
There's lots.
It's the one that's asked over and over again. Then they're not getting it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's the greatest thing about this podcast is that we can reach out. We can try to touch people with what we have to say.
We can pull that curtain back a little bit.
Yeah. And then in the future, you're going to see where the money goes.
Yep.
You're going to see we're actually going to do a live remote from our local food bank, probably the SPCA that we donate to, and some veteran organizations that we donate to, for you just to get a grasp on where we're really going with this.
Mm-hmm.
Not just behind the scenes of the boardwalk, but also why we're doing the boardwalk and where any possible profit goes to help.
I think people should know that when you come to a show at the boardwalk, you're supporting your community, and not just the local community, not just this venue. You're literally supporting charity. So it's not some, like, you're not going out there giving blood, which is great, or donating money or whatever, but a part of what you're doing is supporting different charities. So just keep that in mind when you're here.
Yeah, the greatest thing that you can do is that come support a band, come support this, and you maybe can't afford to support charity, but you could afford to support a little entertainment and help with the local, music scene, and know that a portion of it is going to go.
You're doing all kinds of good. You're doing everything good by going to a show.
And you get music.
Yep.
What's better than music?
It's amazing.
I know. But, so that was just so eye-opening for this, we would all hate to see local venues go out of business because of it. And you're going to see over the next year, there are going to be local music go out of business.
Yep.
And
There's going to be some local ones that we're going to see for sure.
The worse the economy happens, and then we are in a little bit of a pinch, you're going to see regulatory agencies, licensing agencies, other agencies come out to try to develop more dollar.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that means I don't think any stage is safe from BMI or ASCAP or
I'm sure.
those are licensing, and not even the local breweries, you know, that don't charge, you know. And I hate to see that too. But again, even playing field. So would they have music if they had to pay all the fees a concert venue had to pay? No.
Yeah.
It's all about royalties. It's all about going back to the bands or to the performers, or actually it's more to BMI and ASCAP and CSAC.
CSAC?
CSAC.
BMI, ASCAP, CSAC. Those are the ones that get all the money.
There's a new one that came out, but we're ignoring them right now, that started a whole new division with a whole new set of performers. And the only way, it's really interesting, radio stations have to give their list on a quarterly or monthly basis to these agencies to get to know where the money goes to each artist. Now, we pay over $10,000 in licensing fees. I know we totally segued off it, but unless we do a set list on everything and turn them into all the agencies, no royalties get paid. CSAC, ASCAP, and BMI gets to keep the money, and that's why they're so rich.
God damn, that's terrible.
They get to keep the money. It's like a politician that gets out of the business and gets to keep their $2 million war chest.
That's crazy.
I know.
That's crazy.
But so there's that's my commitment, folks. We're back at it. Well, we would never stop that. This has all been a data mining.
But you learn. You over the past few years, you've learned, and you've got the information, you've got the data that's proving it, that's telling you where you need to go, and now you're all in, and that's what people need to know.
We're all in. We're all in. We're all in for our local music scene.
Support local music.
Support. You know, and then when they make it big, never let them forget where they came from.
Exactly.
You got to come back. You got to be here. And we're reaching out to some of those in the past as well. And we're getting some great feedback. And, you know, it took us several months to get several bands here. Pat Travers took 1.5 years.
It takes time sometimes.
You know? It takes time, but, you know, invest now. And like I said, we can help them reap the benefit later. You know,
yep.
So if you're a local band and you've got some originality to you and you are in it and committed and you're in it to win it, as Guy Fieri says, give us a drop.
Yeah,
rocktheboardwalk.com, and on our main page you can submit band.
Yep.
And I'll even give you the direct email as well, booking at rocktheboardwalk.com. But no, we're going to redirect you over to our website, you know, to fill out all that information. And hopefully we'll see you up here and committed to the cause. And I just want to say this in the final and wrapping up is that we are committed. We've figured out the error of our ways. You know, we can right a wrong, and that we're going to. And on behalf of Mikey Muscatello and myself, Derek Clark, we love you guys. Please keep tuning in. Share this with everybody. Share it with everybody. We will post on all the postings and everything, but please, please, please share this. Remember, in numbers, we can overcome anything. And we're here for you and our community. God bless you. Take care. Mahalo.